Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 2021 My Driver Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we're headed to the Russia GP here at Sochi Autodrome, a track where unfortunately last season we had a mechanical failure. So we're hoping we don't have that here today, coming off of, well, a mechanical failure, a gearbox failure it was actually in the Italian GP at Monza. So that's 2 seasons in a row that we have failed to finish the Monza GP. Hopefully we can go here to Sochi though and have a strong finish here today. Now, as we had good pace headed into Monza, and unfortunately it just didn't work out. Lando Norris has won 3 consecutive GPs and now is in front of Lewis Hamilton by 11 points in the championship battle here as we're closing in towards the final handful of rounds of the season as we come through into round 15 here today for the Russian GP. We have had one heck of a season. We've gotten a win in France. We've had our ups and downs. We've had some podiums. We've had luck on our side. We've had bad luck on our side, obviously, with mechanical failures. I think we're at, 4 or 5 mechanical failures now this season already, which has been unbelievable. So hopefully we don't get a 6th today here now, and that's already been a record high, I think, in our career for a season so far. So hopefully we don't have any more now. As we had a good stretch of, I think, 5 or 6 consecutive races without a mechanical failure, and then obviously in the last episode we put that to an end. So we come through though into practice and everything was going smooth and calm and things were going good with the delta times. We were definitely looking like we were going to have some pace here for the Russian GP. Now qualifying is going to be a bit of a curveball because there is rain in qualifying on the way, as well as we will be taking a 5 grid place penalty because we had to replace our gearbox and put a new one in the car due to that gearbox failure after the last episode in Monza. So that's going to be a bit of an impact for us here, but what we have an advantage of is engine power, and well, when it comes to Sochi, we have a lot of long straightaways, so this is going to be a good opportunity to take advantage of using that grid penalty right here in Russia because we have a good straight line speed car, so hopefully that won't really hurt us too much with that grid penalty. But you see the order here in free practice 1, we were down in P15 on that medium compound tire, and I didn't have as much pace as I had originally anticipated, but we were still looking pretty good here going into the weekend there as we were answering some questions here with Claire, just kind of letting her know about how good our power unit is here this season so far. It really has been spectacular. It's not as good as it was earlier in the season compared to other teams. We had a really strong advantage earlier in the season, and when you remember back to Azerbaijan when Aston Martin was 1-2 and the fastest 2 cars on the day between myself and Sebastian Vettel, and we had that incredible photo finish alongside him here. And now as we would come through though into qualifying number 1 here for the Russian GP, and you can see the rain was falling. It wasn't heavy rain, it was intermediate tire conditions that we were looking at here. So hopefully we can have a good competitive qualifying session and at least get into Q3. Things didn't go our way recently, in Monza, where we got into Q3, but then we've had GPs before that now where we've missed Q3, so it's kind of going either way right now. So we'll see what happens as we would find that every time we come into the intermediate tire compound, especially in qualifying, the more laps you're putting on this tire, the faster you're getting. At the end of my first lap, we didn't go very well. We were only P8, and then we would come through to make a second lap, and we were 0.7 of a second nearly faster. Then I would make a third lap, and that would actually be my final lap of the session, and I had found another 0.7 of a second in the lap time here. And now as we come through that final turn, it ended up being just barely below 0.7 of a second, but that got us up to P8, and that would barely get us through into Q2 there. As you see now, we just barely make it by 0.3 over Nicholas Latifi, Guan Yu Zhou, Callum Ilott, Mick Schumacher, as well as Lance Stroll. So we come through now into Q2, where we were in the same situation here as Q1. Tires, of course, we want to put as many laps as we can on these tires, but I only had an opportunity to do 2 laps here. My first lap, well, we only went P12 on the intermediate tire. That was a concern. I knew we needed a really good second lap, and I didn't really get a really good second lap. I didn't really make any mistakes. I just didn't find a lot left on the table compared to what I did in that first qualifying session. We were only 3.5 to 0.4 of a second better, and that would make a big difference here now as I lost a little bit of that time as well coming through into the final corner. 3.5 once again up to 4 but we cross the line and only go P11. We are out here in Q2, eliminated. We don't even advance into Q3, and that means we will likely start P16 with that grid penalty there for the gearbox. Very unfortunate qualifying effort there, and we're not going to waste any time. Let's head to the grid.
Welcome along then to Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula One race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. It's time to go racing then in the Sochi Autodrome, where the long run down to the heavy braking zone at turn 2 is one of 2 DRS zones around this 3.6-mile circuit. The other, of course, down into turn 13. 18 corners make up a lap here today, with an average speed somewhere in the region of 130 miles an hour. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Let me ask you about Aston Martin. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday and will start from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Gasly, Ricciardo, Sainz, Leclerc, and Yuki Tsunoda, Russell, Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Vettel. Latifi, the rookie, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Guan Yu Zhou and Callum Ilott, Stroll and Mick Schumacher. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Completely different situation going on here today. Now sunny conditions, bright out here, and we are ready to go in Sochi. Now you see we take a grid penalty, but it appears that our teammate of Sebastian Vettel as well is going to take a grid penalty. It's a very easy strategy. We're going to go from the soft tire to the medium tire here. One stop is Elidis Latifi on the Williams there, starting on the medium compound, and you're going to see that Lando Norris, the championship leader, starts on pole. He's got his championship contender of Lewis Hamilton lining up behind him, and then he's got Bottas as well that he's going to have to cover off. Ricciardo didn't have a great qualifying effort, so he doesn't have much teammate help here. It's going to be Norris versus Mercedes. This is 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out already very quick, and we are underway here in the Russian GP. A great start from Lewis Hamilton. He's already overtaken the British driver of Lando Norris through this first turn. Now here comes Valtteri Bottas, and it looks like he might be looking to take a 3 wide in the middle, and in the background the 2 Red Bulls are 3 wide with the sister AlphaTauri BMW. They're 3 by 3, 2 rows deep. Bottas goes through the middle, takes the lead, and Hamilton, he cut turn 1 and loses the lead and loses second place to Lando Norris. So down to P3 and losing more points is Lewis Hamilton after having a great start there, going from P2 to P1, but unfortunately not good enough as Bottas was able to take advantage of that slipstream and move himself up into the lead at the end there, starting P3. As you see, the rest of the field has gotten through this first and opening part of the lap very well, very clean. There you see Vettel there under attack from Esteban Ocon. That was there as he's got his teammate of George Russell just behind him. Now as I was just barely in front of Guan Yu Zhou there in that Andretti Autosport car as we continue on our way, and it was a solid start for myself. I had actually already been closing in towards the points, so I was pretty happy with that after starting in P16 there. As you see Norris chasing down that Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. There's clearly a lot of speed in that McLaren because Norris is already closing the gap between himself and that number 77 of Valtteri Bottas there. As you can see, Hamilton losing a little bit of ground to Lando Norris that is here as they come through towards this final few corners now. So a great start from Valtteri, a great start from Lewis, but then it of course got worse after turn 1. A good start from myself going from P16 to P14 here as we come through to complete this first and opening lap of the Russian GP. So 1 down, 26 more to go. We won't have to be pitting until about lap 10 or so as I would quickly get to the gearbox of George Russell here, but waiting for the right opportunity to make a pass, and I'm probably going to need to make that on the next straightaway or have DRS in my favor. Actually, as there was a spin behind us, it was Callum Ilott. I forgot to show it, but Callum Ilott had a spin behind us, a very just straightforward throttle up too early spin, and he would go around didn't collect anybody, so he was all by himself. Nobody picked up any damage here. Now, as we come through up to the back of Russell, though, we're going to make a lunge down the inside here into the very heavy braking right-hander, and we make it happen up into P13 there over the British driver of George Russell now. So as we try to run down his Alpine teammate of Esteban Ocon, it would be really just a matter of time, I felt like, till we would get to him, because we're about to have DRS on, and that's exactly what would get us close to Esteban here now on lap 3 of this GP in Russia.
It looks like we might have an issue. Hang in there, we're attempting to manage it.
Bruh. That surely can't happen on lap 3, can it? Especially when we retire due to a gearbox failure in the first 10 laps of the Monza Italian GP in the last episode. I swear, if we have a mechanical failure again for the 6th time this season, and on just the 3rd lap of the GP, I'm not going to be very happy with this team. I'm going to be livid at this point now. As we have DRS, I waste no time. I pass Esteban Ocon, move up into P12, and as we dive down into the corner, the engine fails, and we are going to be out of the Russian GP on just lap number 3. I'm done. You guys can go find yourselves another driver that's going to deal with this garbage. Go have fun in Singapore. Livid on the radio, as you can imagine. I just quit. I quit. I'm done. This team can go have their fun, get another driver. I'm done dealing with this now as our AI takes control, and he just drove straight on into the barrier, and there goes the front wing. I don't know what to say at this point. That's our 6th mechanical failure, I believe, this season. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say. Wow. Let's go see who won the GP.
A beautiful performance from McLaren today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm really happy to see them there on the top step of the podium.
Don't know what to say. Once again, we didn't even complete 3 laps before the engine gave out here. Yeah, we're not running anything crazy. We're on the normal, of course, mechanical failure frequency, I guess you call it, and we have had 6 of those this season. Callum Isla ended up retiring. Lando Norris has increased his point lead with the victory here. 4 straight victories. He's now got a 22-point lead over Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes is going to need to find something quick to be able to take down Lando Norris and that McLaren team, who closes in on the Constructors' battle as well. 22 points separating Mercedes and McLaren, with Mercedes currently at the top. But I quit the team on the radio there when the engine expired. I called it, but we did have a press conference there over phone at the end of the GP. Let's take a look at what I said. As of right now, yeah, no, I have no plans to show up to Singapore. Now the team can go find somebody else. So unless they come up with something crazy here for the Singapore GP to make up for what I've been dealing with all season long, I mean, I'm not coming back. I mean, we've had great experiences together, but ever since I announced I'm leaving and going to McLaren, they have given me absolutely zero reliability. I mean, they gave me barely any at all to begin with this season, and you guys seen that in the results with our mechanical failures. But ever since I announced I'm leaving, we can barely complete 10 laps in a GP. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. There, you heard myself right there. That's basically what I had to say, summed up pretty quick. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be back with Aston Martin for the Singapore GP. We'll see what they offer, what they put on the table for us to return. But nonetheless, yeah, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. A lot of drama in this episode that was unexpected and unwanted and unneeded. We as well try to at least get an upgrade to Aston Martin going in the future. But that does it for me. Thank you all for taking the time of your day for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.